All right, we are here. I'm gonna shoot some T3. Try and pick up. There's 3 holes for the upcoming 2020 Community Cup that are in Tour 3, and I'm gonna try and pick them up with my 99 account. Let's go in there. I got some clubs over the last week. Played some Tour 5 for the 2020 Winter Major, just demoing holes for teammates. Posting some videos. Got my sniper up to level 2. Woohoo! Got 6 more levels and it'll be awesome. But I've got my clubs to the point where I can upgrade them as I get them. So the cool thing about the down and oneer is when you get this club to level 9, it's still a turd. And the reason it's still a turd, it's got awesome numbers. I mean, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, and 1.5 ball guide. And it never gets any better than that. The Junglist. That's a cheap upgrade. I think we can afford that one. Just trying to keep up with them as they go along. All right. Got my bag set up. Got a Marlin. I'm ready to roll. Here we go. Walking out on the course. Playing some Golf Clash. And kicking butt, of course. Nahimi Cliffs. Nam Hai Cliffs. I'm going to get it right. One of my viewers posted on there how to pronounce it. I'm going to get there. I'm going to work diligently to get that right. It's Nam Hai Cliffs. And this is not one of the holes that's in the tournament. There's a bunch of different ways you can go with this. You can lay it up out here. If you're playing from the back tees, that's the way to go. You can try and get it up here and try and bounce it over, or you can just lay it up right there, or you can come over to this area right here and use that little island. If you're going to use that little island, it's better to be to the left there. 1-6. Just a little bit of a movement. Just trying to lay it up on the other side. This is probably not the way to go at it with the clubs that I have. I may take a look at the island. That might be better. If you've got clubs, if you got a club that has a backspin, you can do the backspin, side spin, curl shot from that area right there and take it right into this gap right here between the rough and the sand and stick it up there on the green. You have no idea where it's going to go, but it'll be really close to the hole. You can take a putt. You can get an eagle on this hole. Super consistent. This hole does eat a lot of people's lunch with this drive. They'll either end up pushing the limit down there or they'll end up in that sand and they can't get on from there. So in many cases, if you either lay it up down at the end of that chute, let's see if I can get over from here because I have no backspin on this club. I gave my opponent a break here with no backspin. I think this club is like 2.9, 2.8 per ring. I don't really like that spot, but got to deal with it. 2.8, that leaves me 5. That's about a ring and a fifth. Just a titch of curl on it. And hit it great to the right, which compounded the curl problem. I'll probably hit, just try and stick it up there and get up on the green. I'd like it to roll off, roll, roll. There you go. Sometimes on these holes, the putts going up these little hills, like it doesn't look like it's much, but it's one of those putts where you're here, the pin's here, and you've got to bring the ball like this at an angle. You got to bring it in some half circle in order to get it to the hole. And there's a lot of spots on this green where they're super tough putts. So it's much better for my game to end up on the fringe and just chip it up. In the drink. We will run it out there and just put it in the cup. Isn't it perfect? In the hole. Easy breezy. Super easy eagle. that island is not my preferred way to get on there, but it is a way to get on there, especially with a club like that where it's it doesn't have a lot of backspin. So normally I come over into this area right here and I do the backspin, side spin, curl, and just lay it up here towards the cup. But with that particular club, shooting off that island is not a bad deal. Just trying to just limp it up there. It's important when you're on these holes to explore what the shots look like from different areas, because you may get out there and the wind's bad or you didn't have the right club. And I see people all the time where they'll force the issue. They'll try and make the club that they have work in that wind by forcing the issue. And it's like, dude, just go over to the island over there. You got a whole nother shot over there and that wind's not going to affect you. But people haven't taken those shots. So they only know one way to go. See if our opponent will replay. Of course not. I can almost see it in this account because it's a low level account. People might be short on coins, but it's 1,600 coins. I guess you're looking for easier competition. So it's like, hey, that guy beat me, so I'm going to forfeit and maybe I'll get somebody easy the next time. Maybe that's the deal. Sakura Hills, hole 8, par 4. This is also not one of the holes we're looking for. But for those of you that are playing in T3 with some lower developed stuff, just demoing it. This hole right here, this is another one of those holes that people will come on and it looks like it's super simple and they'll epic fail. And I very seldom, maybe 1 in 100 times, will epic fail on this hole because I'm going to do a simple layup. I'm not going to do any overpower. I'm not going to try and get everything out of my club. I'm going to bring a super accurate club. And when they hit that way right there, if they end up in the rough over there, they'll be behind the trees. They may be just far enough. Nope, they're done. They're sunk. Let's see what we have for either one will work. I'll bring my QB. Just do a little bit of backspin. Don't need to get crazy out there. It's 100% accurate. It's 1.7 rings. Puts me about 3/4 of a ring in power, and I could care less. I'm not going to put any overpower on it. I'm just going to lay it up. Hit it. 1 ring great to the right. Little laggy. Just lay it up. And where I want is when it looks at the hole, this tree that's right here, I'm right there at it. But from this distance, I can hop over the tree. The tree is not in my way in any way, shape, or form. But my opponent, they got a window at it. They got lucky. That castaway gets really good when it gets upper developed. It actually has more backspin than the Houdini. It actually has some better stats than the Houdini when it gets upper developed. And I think you got to get it to like level, you got to get it maxed out in order for it to become the club. And I'm not sure that the Houdini doesn't get better when it gets maxed out. But it does become a usable club, useful. Back in the sand. I see that all the time. You see it all the time in this game. Somebody's in the sand and they go from the sand to the sand, from the rough to the rough. There's max. There's min. So we're a minimum club. It's about 3 per ring. Just a titch. Top spin. 3 per ring. So that's about 1/3 of a ring. Very minute adjustment. I'll put some curl on it to bring it back to the hole. Hitting it 1 ring great to the right. Great to the right. Great to the right. That was 1 ring great to the right. Just pop it up there and make them force them by going fairway to green, fairway to fairway to green, fairway to green, staying in the fairway, hitting it up to the green, forcing your opponent to have to make their error shots. Don't help your opponent out. When I'm playing against my teammates, we're playing one-on-one and we're practicing holes, we're having fun, trying out different shots, getting crazy. That's not a big deal. They're my teammates. I have no problem with that. Sometimes you're never going to learn those shots unless you go out there and take them. But when I'm playing to try and get chests. I have no idea who this person is. My goal is to beat them. And if they're willing to beat themselves and I don't have to put out the calories, then there you have it. It's especially important, like if you are harvesting chests, you're sitting down at night and you're trying to get your pin chest. Would you rather do it? And would you rather win 8 or get your pin chest, get all 8 and then only win 4 chests? Or would you rather go out there and not only get your 8 for your pin chest, but win 8 at the same time? Sometimes you can throw the hammer down on your opponent, but there's a lot of times that your opponent throws the hammer down for you. It always cracks me up when people go, do I have good enough clubs to go to Tour 6? If you feel comfortable going to Tour 6, go to Tour 6, because I can guarantee you half the people that are in Tour 6 don't know how to play their clubs anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you should, I'm a big fan of slow playing your clubs. I mean, there's no rush here. All right. They're looking for the tournament holes just like I am. But if they want to give me a chest, I will take it. Let your opponent do the work for you. Let's keep 2 open just in case we find that that rare rock egg of a person who wants to replay. Maybe. There's a few people out there that will replay you, but most of our community are, I guess they're just afraid. I'll tell you how much fear people have in this game. Right there, you can't see what your opponent's banners are or trophy count, because what was happening was people were seeing that somebody had a high trophy count or had banners, and people would forfeit before the match started because they didn't want to play that person because they had banners and stuff. So they changed it. That's why when you're looking at it, you can't see their banners, because there was too many people that were forfeiting and doing stuff. Because our community was just, that cracks me up. Yeah, you were looking at my shot thinking it was going to go where, dude? That's right where I aimed it. And now I don't get a nice shot after you gave me the little I'm not going to look to see where it's going to go. Let's see where you can put this extra mile, big man. Big man, come on. Come on, JP. I was like, if you know, the deal is I don't ever trash talk people out here, or I don't ever emoji spam when people give me crap like that, but it does make me want to beat them. What's funny about that is that they made those adjustments, but they couldn't see the end of their ball guide, so I'm not exactly sure how they know how those adjustments are affecting the ball if you can't see the ball guide. And they got lucky that didn't end up in the rough. Lucky, because that is the death if you hit that rough. I feel good. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. It's 1.7 per ring. Oh, it's about what, 2/3 of a ring, somewhere in that neighborhood. That felt right. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if we can stick it up there and not bounce over. Just try and get it up there. And that's a good distance there. Earlier. What? This person's cracking me up. I mean, those were pretty simple shots to set up if you know your wind ring method and you know how to play your clubs. played a lot with, when I first got a hammerhead, that up to about level 3, and then finally at level 3 I got a sniper and started working it up. But I used a hammerhead for quite a while when I first started playing. The very first account that I had, my odd account, I played with a hammerhead a lot. I like that club. The problem with the hammerhead is that you talk about not getting club cards for like the Apocalypse or some of these other clubs that everybody's looking for cards for. The hammerhead's got to be one of the slowest going epics out there. I mean, you hardly ever get cards for it. Getting whole. Getting whole. All right, JP. And you brought the and they brought the down and one. I will tell you right now, the best way to do a down and one is to do a dunk. That's what it's for. It's a one-trick pony. So the best way to go at it with the down and one is to actually do a dunk. It's not that you can't get it in without doing the dunk, but the thing is that it from that distance right there, a dunk is a super viable shot with a down and oneer. But there is no way I would want that in my bag as a wedge. My goals for a wedge, the number one thing I'm looking for is ball guide and topspin. And I'm not sure which one of those is the most important. And my Saturn range here. I am. See if we can get our distance right. 3, 4. It's 2 per ring, so, and we're downhill. So I'm going to do a 20% overpull. So I'm going to just do a 2 ring pull. Hit it 1 ring great to the right. It's all about distance. And I got my distance way wrong. I needed about 1 backspin. So I got to remember that. I played these holes yesterday, and after 1 round and getting some of these holes, I figured it out. But I'll forget from day to day because I'm not playing this tour every day. The key on shootouts is to get your distance right. Because if you took the shortest distance I was from the cup there when it breezed by it, that's where you want to end up. So if you catch a great to the left or the right, you still had your distance right. You're at your closest point that you were to the cup with the great to the left or the right. So distance is key. So on that right there, I mean, hitting it perfect is hitting it perfect, but what you want to get down is your distance. And they should easily be able to beat that shot. And they didn't. Good game. All right, JP. Let's see if you're a player. Come on, man. Nobody wants to replay. Couldn't hardly buy a replay. I don't know what the deal is in our community. I think even if Playdemic offered free balls, people would want to replay. Too worried about losing a few coin. I do remember when I first started playing, coins were a little bit of an issue when you very first start playing, but it doesn't take very long if you figure out a method for working out the wind. And they're just not going to give up the holes that we're looking for. And we're going to get every other hole in the game. And we're not getting any replays, so we're not eliminating holes from the queue. This is definitely the way to go out here with lower developed stuff. If you bring out a big ball, you can go straight at it. And from my perspective, my opponent, that's the side to go to, but my opponent actually overshot that by about 20 yards. So they'll have a little bit harder time coming into the cup than if they just laid it out there in between those shadows. So you don't need to get very far out there. 3.7, 3.7 rings. That puts me about a ring into power. I'll put that ring back in it. Hitting it perfect. And try and get in between those shadows. About 290 is where I want to get. And I picked up some speed there. It's right on the verge. That's about 7 yards farther than I wanted to hit it. And the reason why, the farther you get out, especially if you get out to the tip, you see a lot of people get out to the tip. They have a thorn, but you can see where they're coming in at the green. The farther you get out to the right, this fairway lengthens, and so you have to have more and more backspin in order to stick it to the cup. If you're where I'm at, you've got this mouth open right here, and you can actually run it up to the cup. You can still do backspin if you have a backspin club, but if you've got a club that doesn't have a lot of backspin, it opens up that mouth bleeding up to the fairway, and you've got a nice little shot coming up to it. I should be in my Kingfisher range. Let's see where I'm at in my club. There's max. There's mid. So there's mid. So I'm right around mid club, which is about 2.1 per ring. I'm getting up towards min club or max club, so I'm just going to go right at it. I'm going to do about 1.5. Go right in that neighborhood. That's off, but that's all right. Hit it one ring great to the left. That was about one ring great to the left. I was kind of in between. My minimum number or my max number on there is 1.2, and my mid number is 2.1. So that's 8.9. Probably about 1.6 per ring if it was in between max and mid. So I did an overpull there, and I hit it great to the left. Should have just did my mid number. What was I thinking? In the hole. What I was thinking was I'm looking for one of the shootouts. I picked it up yesterday. It was a video that I don't have. It is for Nam High Cliffs, hole 6, par 3. And this is not it. This is the other one. There's two shootouts in Nam High Cliffs that look very similar. There's this one and another one, and they look very similar to each other. This one you take with a short iron, the other one you take with a long iron. The other one, the flagpole's over on this side, and it drops down over there. But they look, I get them confused all the time, and I'm looking at them on paper. This hole right here is a super hole-in-oneable hole. Nice shot. Because it funnels up to it. If you have your speed right, it funnels up there to it. Especially if you hit great to the right and you got your speed right, it will funnel that direction. So I'm right at max club. A little bit of a headwind here, so I'm going to put just a titch of top spin on it. So it's 3.9. I'm going to do a 30%. That's 4. That's 5.2. It's 1.2. So there's 4.8. It's about 5.2. Hitting it perfect. See if I can match up with them. It'll be a little off to the left. The thing about this hole is, if you catch it up there by that green with any more speed than what I have, it will roll off the back. It does not take very much speed to overshoot this, and you'll end up off the back of the cup. Off the back of the green, excuse me. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. See if they'll replay. Hey, come on, dude, you won. And you don't want to replay. I think people are so muscle memory used to hitting exit that they forget that replay is even an option. I mean, I think it has to be something like that because you hardly ever get people to replay you. There's a golf course not too far from my house called Elkhorn, and their motto is, "Do you have enough balls to play our course? Do you have enough balls?" Because that course is brutal. There's two areas on that course. There's the fairway and there's the rough. Okay, my big topper is 2.8, so we're, let's say, 3/4 of a ring right along the red line. But just a titch of overpower and just a titch of right hand curl. Hitting it perfect. And try and do the bounce diddy bounce and get over to the other side. As long as that bounce right there hits, we're good to go. You can bring an extra mile out there and you can try and pound it over. There's a lot of different ways that you can get over this. You can come at it with power and really try and blast it up there to the front. You can get up there in your short iron range. They've redesigned the green on this hole, and I really like the way that it was in the past on how it came up, how you came up to it, and they redesigned the green here. The course is the same, but they redesigned that green, and I don't like the green as much as it was when it originally came out. And they're putting overpower. Let's see if they get it. I think it's going to go right into the sand. You got to watch your bounces there. I mean, my bounces were showing that if I didn't put anything massive on it, I was going to end up in the right spot. I think you can get on from down there pretty easily, though. We're at max club. It's 1.4 per ring, so there's 2.8. Maybe 3.842, so we're a little shy of 3 rings. Just try and hit it straight forward. Hitting it perfect. See if it'll run up to the cup. And I'll tell you on this hole right here, it's better if you hit this putt to be short. Where it's at right there isn't bad, but if it falls off over on this side right here, it's a super difficult putt. Even though you're really close, it's a suck putt. Had a little flat trajectory there. I haven't had I used to be this hole right here was a hole that I thought the eagle on it wasn't the easiest eagle in the world, but it was very eagleable. But when they changed the hole with the cup placement where it is now and the hump that it's on, I don't find that I'm as successful on this hole as I was in the original configuration. That's part of why I don't like it, but I think the original configuration, it was better. I remember playing this hole when I first started playing with really low level clubs. In the hole. Getting it done with the low level stuff. And the way you get it done with the low level stuff is fairway to fairway to green. Fairway to fairway to green. Fairway to green. When you have lower developed stuff, you do not want to have to pull out the clubs in the bottom part of your bag. If you have a Firefly and you're using that as your wedge with lower developed stuff, that's not a bad club. But your rough iron, your sand wedge, you want to try and avoid having to pull those out. Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. That way you can see what this putt's like from down here. So like you're right there. It looks like, hey, that's an easy putt. And they're actually close enough that probably will be an easy putt. But let's see. Oh, they didn't get to take it. I was up. Good game. I forgot I was ahead. No replay. No replay for you. Let's open up that one and save a gem. Getting club cards. Why was there a Guardian in that bag? Oh, that must have been one of the old chests that was in there. That must have been a T5 chest from the other day when I was demoing shots. Can't believe there was any T5 chests left. And I went back out on Monday, I think, after the 2020 tournament, and I was playing T5 because I wanted to get some of those Sharuba Springs holes. I wanted to get some of those Sharuba Springs holes so that I could see how they played in one-on-one, because how we play holes in one-on-one is different than how we play holes in tournaments. My opponent's probably going to think I'm a D-bag, but the deal is I want to see where we're at on this hole, because this is one of the holes that is in the upcoming 2020 Community Cup. And I'm not going to bring out a big ball, but you can get up there. I'm going to try my big topper. You can try and pound it up there with your extra mile, but I've got an extra mile 6, and pound for pound, the big topper will get more yardage with the 100% topspin than I can get with my extra mile. Come over just a titch. I'm going to put a little bit of overpower on it and some curl. Hitting it perfect. Try not to put so much overpower that the needle was going any faster, but enough that I could pick up some extra distance, as long as I don't end up in the rough. Needed a little more curl. The deal is from up here, though, even when you're in the rough, if your timing is perfect, these rough sand fairway shots from this distance up here are extremely makeable. Your rough iron and your sand wedge, when you get really close like that, are the most accurate clubs in your bag. And so if you can get your timing right, those are super makeable shots. If your timing's not right, they're not. But if your timing's right, you're good to go. We'll see if my timing's right. And my machete is not the best club in the world for this because it has 0 ball guide, but the machete right now is the best club in my bag as far as rough iron. Especially with a low developed account, because it does have backspin, and sometimes you need that. Yeah. That was anticipation. I had the speed right, though. The distance, it flattened out right before it got in front of the cup, and if it would have been on trajectory, there's a chance that it would have hit the flagpole and went in. It was a little faster than I would have liked, but I do like the fact that the ball guide flattened out right there. I'm not a fan of doing that. I want to see that ball guide sticking out the other side. It doesn't have to stick out a lot, but I want to see it sticking out the other side. I don't want that hole just glowing. I want to see it off on the other side like that. If you stick it out too far, it'll just bounce over the hole, but I definitely want to see the ball guide going through the cup. That glowing cup does not mean that you can make it to the cup. That just means that you're pointing at the cup. So if it's just barely glowing and you release, you could end up short shooting. And I'm telling you that from experience. I like this hole. A little bit of top spin. Just a couple. 2.6, I'm going to add 20% on, so that's going to be 5, so that's 3-1. There's 2-8. Do 2 and a little ring. I'll put some curl on it to bring it back to the cup. If you don't put that curl on it, it'll go straight, even though the ball guide's telling you that it's going to take this hop right here. If you don't put that curl on it, it'll just go straight. You have to put that curl on there. Don't trust the ball guide on this hole. There's 4 ways that you can come at this hole. You can use this island. You can use the rough bump that I just did. You can bring a Guardian and stick it right here. And all 3 of those shots, you got to put curl on it, because the ball guide will show you that it's going off like it is right there. But if you don't put curl, hopefully my opponent will take the same shot I did and hit it and not put curl on it, and you'll see the deal. Or you can do a rough bump off of this front, and that's probably the best way to get a hole-in-one here. But it's really, I don't like, because we have to do an additional wind adjustment here, I don't like taking that rough bump when there's tailwind or headwind, because it is super sensitive. And that's what I'm talking about. If you don't put curl on it, it looks like the ball guide's going to drift down there to it, and it'll just go straight. It's a weird thing. There's not very many holes that give you this false thing with your ball guide, but this is one of them. Good game. So I taught you a trick on hole 7, par 3, because that hole right there causes the mass majority of people that play Tour 3, if you're out there on this hole, that hole right there will eat most people's lunch, and it's super easy. 20% wind adjustment. Make sure you put curl on it. Couple top spin, side spin to get the ball guide looking towards it, and then you got to get curl on it in order to bring it over to the cup. Come on, dude. That may be a dude. Come on, girl. Not now. All right, we got 1 more hole. Do we got time? I can shoot about 56 minutes. How much time we got? Oh, heck, we did all those, and we did 7 holes already, and we've only shot for 36 minutes. That's because somebody forfeited, 2 people forfeited at the beginning of the video, so that's the deal. And we've unfortunately only picked up 1 of the holes that we're looking for, but we have got to shoot some Tour 3 for those of you that are playing Tour 3 or having issues with it. This hole right here, I find people get you don't have to do a lot here. 2 rings off, and I don't have to do anything. I am going to put just a little teeny bit. It's 1.8 per ring. So there's 1.4, so we're just a little over half a ring. I am going to put just a little bit of right hand curl on it just to bring it back to the fairway. Get it great to the left. And that means that bounce was great to the left, but it's still going in a right hand direction to miss that rough. From here, we can, there's 1, 2, there's 3 different ways that you can come at this green. The most popular way is bouncing it off the island and then bringing it back to the left. Bouncing it off this island right here, or this area, and then bringing it back to the left. You can do a rough bump down there at the bottom of the sand in the triangle, and I like that rough bump better. There is also a pure rough bump you can do by the sand. Trying to go at this hole from the left-hand side and trying to bring it around that way is a losing proposition. Let's see where we're at here. Can I do the rough bump? And that wind's not too bad. Where am I at my club? I'm right at max club. .5, it's 1.4, so there's 2.8. I'm going to do a little less than 2 rings right along the line. Hitting it perfect. See if I got that adjustment right. Boom, shakalaka-laka. Close, close. If you're looking to sink that, the rough bump is probably the best way, but that rough bump right there on the sand is super dangerous if the wind's blowing the wrong way. I prefer right down here at the bottom of the sand, this little triangle that's down here. I actually prefer to be more out in this area so that my shot's coming through and I can do the rough bump off that triangle. You have a much bigger area and much more room for maneuver if you're on this part of the rough as opposed to where I hit it. But this shot that my opponent's doing is probably the most popular way for people to come at this hole. I'm not a fan. Well, that was where their wind adjustment was. Easily gets over. Nice shot. I got 2 lucky shots there. But that's fine. That means we get to go to a shootout. So maybe we'll get the hole that I'm looking for. Maybe I'll get the hole that I'm looking for. I'm never afraid to go to shootouts with people. You cannot be afraid of shootouts. And you need to be able to be willing to take your lumps on those shootouts and focus on distance. Because if you always end up on the same, you're either in the cup or you're right to the left or the right of it based on you got your speed right, so you didn't go past the cup. You always end up at that shortest spot you were from the cup. Once you get that distance figured out and you get like, hey, I'm on this hole right here and I'm going to do 1 backspin. On this hole, I like to be 2 rings off that transitional surface. This is another hole they've redesigned. I'll put just a titch of topspin. And maybe a titch less. Just try and float it down there. So it's 1.4. That's 1.4. That's 6, 7, 8. So it's a little over a ring and a half. Hitting it perfect. I probably should have took out about 10% more because that's going to blow past the cup. See, if I'd ended up right there, if I had my speed right, my distance would have been 0.2. We used to come at this hole and we would put on just a sliver of topspin. Depending on the way that the wind was blowing, we put on either a little sliver of topspin or a little sliver of backspin. And the way that worked right there is it probably didn't take any at all. You could probably go out there and not make any adjustment on it at all. Get in the hole. I think I got beat. I did get beat. Good job. Nice shot. And that's what I'm talking about. I would have won if I'd had my speed right. So don't be afraid of shootouts. You need to go out there and figure that stuff out. And it's all about distance. So figure your distance out first and then everything else will be good. Wow, I got somebody that wants to replay. They beat me. So they're like, hey, I can beat this guy. So let's go replay. That's good. Give me an opportunity to get my money back. You guys are getting bonus content. See, we were going to end the video right there because I filled my pin chest. And this person stepped up to the plate and decided they wanted to be a player. I'm out practicing my big topper today. Let's see how they do with the big topper. That works. Nice shot, man. Why are you telling me good game? Game's not over yet. Oh, they're going to start emoji spamming me. Let's turn off the chat. I don't have to put up with that crap. I think I will come at it with my big dog. Okay, 3-1. It's 2.8 per ring, so it's a little over a ring. I wonder if they're still spamming me or if it stops it and says, hey, your opponent turned their chat off. I find on this hole, the farther you are to the right, or excuse me, the left, the more you open up this fairway coming in, and it's a little bit easier. Because the farther out here you are, you need a club that has either backspin or you got to be willing to take this rough bump. And I don't like this particular type of rough bump. Is not my cup of tea. I don't like hitting up against huge hill faces because even if you clip the rough and you get it right, it takes a really big irregular bounce and you can end up very high. I feel good. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Like I knew that I would now. There's my red line right there. Give myself enough room forward. Take the wind out. That's about a little less than half a ring. Now I came here last time I put on max curl, so I'm going to put on about half curl. See if I can get it up pin high. There we go. Done. I needed just a titch more curl. I played this hole a bunch. It's been a long time since I played it, but I played it a lot. So getting on the green in 2 is not a prohibitive deal, even with a big dog. I wonder if it does, because I don't really emoji spam anybody or do that kind of stuff, so I don't really ever give anybody a reason to turn their emojis off on me. But I wonder if on the other side, if it's showing that I've turned the emojis off so they can't do it, or if he's sitting there wasting his time. I hope that he's sitting there wasting his time and doing the emoji spamming and going, yeah, I'm getting this guy. See if we're on the hole that I'm looking for. This is the hole that I'm looking for. So this is, what is this? This is hole 6, par 3 of Namahe Cliffs. I'm going to put on about 4 backspin. I'm going to do a 30% wind adjustment. So 30% wind adjustment is going to be right at 4 miles per hour. And there is 4.2. So I'll go a little shy of 3 rings. Hitting it perfect. See if we can get in the cup. Just laying it up there in front. Little too much backspin. Maybe 3.5. See if my opponent can get it up there. I wonder if they are in a clan by themselves and they're the team president with Mushroom Pot and Mushroom Potent as the name of the clan. I think they beat me. Losing 2 in a row. Jeez, what's the deal? Ah, I got them. Now let's see if they'll replay. They wanted to replay when they were winner, chicken dinner. Here we go. All right. We're getting some bonus content. They want to be a player. If my video ends all of a sudden, I can record about 56 minutes. I can record 4 gigs of video in one shot if I'm standalone like this. With this wind, I forgot to switch balls on the last hole. We'll see if we can stay out of that sand. There's 2.8, 3.42. About a ring and a half. Hit it 1 ring great to the right. Just laying up there in front of that sand. I don't want anything to do with that sand. Unless you have a Spitfire, you can't get on from the sand. So you might be able to eke your way really close, but it's very difficult if you end up in the rough or the sand here to get up if you've got lower developed clubs. And I don't have a Spitfire or a Nirvana in my bag, so I do not want to end up in the rough or the sand or short shooting. We'll come over here and hit off this island. Give myself a couple rings of maneuver there. Which way's the wind blowing? A little bit of backspin. I'm going to, it's 1.9, a little bit of headwind. It's 2.5 per ring. we're about 4/5 of a ring. I'm going to put some curl to bring it back towards the cup. And on the right-hand side, I'm out of the rough, so this should actually hit the fairway. Nice and easy. Yeah, you can go back and rewind that. So from where I was at, I'm in the rough. I didn't really want to clip the rough with all that backspin on there. What I wanted it to do was bleed off onto the green. So you can see that the rough, it's longer on the left-hand side. So if you use curl on your arc right there on the right-hand side, you're actually going to clip the green or the fringe right there. And this can be a dangerous shot. They got it on. Got it up there. See if we can get it in the hole. Doing the little snake, the little weave and bob. How much time we got? And I think we got enough. We can do the shootout. Look at that. You got bonus content right at the very end. I've been bitching all day about nobody wants to replay, and the very last person wants to replay. And they asked me to replay. How rare is that? I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket when I get done here. Because that's about what it feels like. And they are lucky they hit that grate to the left, because if they wouldn't have hit it great to the left, it would have missed the cup. What's sad about that is that they think that they made that wind adjustment and that was correct. And the deal is that from that close, you do not want to make wind adjustments. The wind was not a factor. And so if they would have hit that perfect, they actually would have missed the cup. Now let's see if I can remember how to play this hole from the first time we were here. Just a sliver. Actually, I think I need to put a sliver the other direction. Yeah. I'm hoping that they're doing the little emoji spamming while we're doing this. So we're downhill. I'm going to do a 2-ring pull. So there's 1, 4. Do about a ring and a half. Getting a 1 ring grate to the left. Boom! In the hole. Okay, now we can unblock the emojis. Get in the hole. Now, I could be a douchebag just like they were earlier, and I could start emoji spamming them. And it looked like they could still do, because as soon as I turned it off, I saw something pop up there. So they've been sitting there the whole time on all these shots, and they've been emoji spamming me, and I've had them turned off. I love that. Now let's see if they can get in the cup. Good luck. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. There we go. You guys got some bonus content. That's why you always want to leave slots open. So if you do catch somebody that wants to replay, you can do the thing. Let's see what we got in our pin chest. Getting some coin, getting some gems. That's important right there. Replenishing those gems. Getting some Vipas. Trying to get those commons maxed out, so that even though I haven't done anything higher than T5, and I've only played in T5 for 3 hours, I max trophied it in 3 hours, and it took me 2 hours to max trophy it, and I was playing some stuff, but I've trying to get these commons, and I picked up commons through the golden shot, but trying to get these T3 and below commons maxed out, because then I can start participating in the prism chest with all these low-level clubs. It's huge. All right, that was just some one-on-one T play trying to get my pin chest. Thanks for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe at the bottom. Thanks.